Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining today. We're just going to do a follow up on our interventions and STAR data, STAR monitoring, and just kind of touch base to see how everything has been going. Um, and just briefly, I do have just a couple of guiding slides, and you guys feel free if you want to share your data on the screen and present, you can do that. If not, you just feel free to talk about it. And so, of course, we're continuing to talk about improving achievement in literature, the effects of progress monitoring and reading interventions on student achievement. And we're going to discuss our STAR data, our Lexile, and we're just reporting in general. I know that we first started working with STAR last semester, and that was the first time that we were able to implement that. And I think since then, we've been able to give it multiple times. I know some of you all do it more than others, more frequently than others. But we're just going to talk a little bit today about where we are, what you've been noticing, the progress. We can talk about challenges, things that you feel like maybe we need to improve upon, or what can we do to change it that would, be more beneficial for just the teachers and for the students as well. And so whoever would like to go first, I'll stop presenting now just to kind of talk about some data. We can go ahead and get started with that.
I can go ahead and start, and just for the sake of time, I'll present my second period, which first semester is a reading enrichment class, which provides remedial reading education for students who are below Lexile. It is a co-taught class, and so hold on just a moment, I'll present my screen. Okay, so this is the data for my second period. I also have a fourth period, ninth grade class that is Gen Ed, and I do have several ELL students in that one. But like I said, for the sake of time, I'll just present this one class. As you can see, there's a lot of red. This class is co-taught, but there are a lot of students that have IEPs in this course, and 504 plans, lots of students with reading and writing goals. The students who score higher that you see in the yellow are my students who are, I think the highest right now is an 1150 Lexile, which is still below the Lexile for ninth grade. But I have students who consistently test at, a couple of students that consistently test at kindergarten, first grade level. But in general, the average in the class, excluding the ones who are at 1,000 or above 1,000, those two, the average is about a third to fourth grade level in the class. In the class, I do lots of vocabulary. First semester, when I have them for remedial reading, I focus more on active reading skills. And we do lots of grammar, lots of skills that are associated with being able to understand text structure, because a lot of them don't know that. They're not able to read a text or even just a very short passage and say, they're comparing and contrasting, or this is cause and effect, or this is sequence or chronological passage. And they really struggle with things like that. They struggle a lot with basic sentence structure, even with like simple and compound sentences. And so we work on a lot of those skills. About half of the kids that have IEPs also have read aloud on their IEP. And so many of them struggle with reading literally, like just straight literal comprehension. But there are some of them that also struggle with just reading, period. They struggle with decoding, they struggle with cueing, anything that is longer than, and I know this may sound kind of crazy, but I have a few students, anything longer than 4 or 5 words, they struggle to read it. the way that I use this data is a lot of it does inform placement. We had an IEP meeting this morning with a young lady that I did not have first semester, and my first semester reading enrichment course, I have those same kids for ninth grade lit. I did not have her first semester. She came to me in January, but she is now going to a small group resource ELA class. Because she struggles so much with basic things that it's affecting her in all of her classes. A lot of the students struggle to do independent reading, so as much as I think that that's really important, and I do incorporate a little bit of it first semester, we can't do it with the ninth grade text because a lot of the students literally do not have the skills to do it. And of course, students who don't have the skills to do it, even some of the small things that they can do, they don't do because they're often reluctant learners in general. So we do a lot of explicit instruction, lots of direct instruction, a lot of repeated reading where I can. I do have students that if I see that they're really, really struggling, which I did it with the student that we had an IEP meeting on today, I will sometimes pull them out and have them do like just a short 1-minute passage and have them read aloud. And then I'll ask them comprehension questions. And then the next day I'll have them come back and say, hey, what can you tell me about that passage that we read? And some of them do well in their short passages, 5th grade level. Some can't remember anything that they did the day before. And occasionally I'll have students that they'll read, but even after, like right after reading, they can't remember, they don't comprehend anything. And so lots of struggles in this particular class. And again, I used the STAR data to decide, okay, I need to scaffold a lot more for this student. Maybe this student needs a little bit extra. And, I have used it to determine placement. So anybody have any questions for me or any thoughts?
No, that sounds great. It is hard to believe sometimes that when we're looking through data that this is high school, and that we do have kids, unfortunately, that are, sometimes grade levels behind, and, reading, it's the basis of everything that kids do in high school. So if they struggle with reading, they're definitely going to struggle in a lot of their other content areas. So I definitely agree with you, Ms. Taylor, that STAR can be definitely used to help identify those weaknesses and help determine what additional strategies and interventions that needs to be put in place.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and as you can see, I just wanted to, I only have 14% that are even developing. 80%, 86% of my class is beginning. And again, this does not include the data because I do have from first semester, several of them did already have gone to resource for ninth grade lit. And so what happened was that I got 5 or 6 new students that I did not have first semester. So this does not include those students because I actually have one gifted student in that class, and I have, the students that I got in return were all on grade level. They're right at 9th, 10th, 11th grade level. And so that doesn't include those 4 students. But even the ones that don't have a 504 or IEP are really struggling with reading. It's just, it concerns me because we only really offer any kind of RAP in 9th grade. And so going into 10th grade, even there are some that have increased in Lexile, but, if you're starting out on a 3rd grade level or on a 1st grade level, and you increase 2 grade levels in my class, you're still several grade levels behind.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Does anybody else have any data to share or anything to share?
I'll share. I don't have, the screen that I wanted to show has student names on it, and I wasn't sure if I could do that.
You could just talk about it.
Okay, so one of the reports that I really truly like in the STAR is
Okay.
the one.
Do you guys see that now? Let's see. Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Does everybody know how to get? Is there anybody who doesn't know how to get to this particular point with the start screen report? Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and go step by step really quickly. So the first thing you do is when you go to Renaissance.
You're no longer sharing.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back to the screen. I'm getting ready to share in just a second. I had to get back to the screen. 1 second. Okay, can you guys see it now? When I share, I can't see. So if you guys can just unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. We can see.
Okay. So right here, this is the main page, and on your main page, you'll see, if you go down, you'll see you have a variety of preferences. And before this particular page, you just click on the home page. In the home page, you will see where it has star reading, math, and then you'll have, the tab with your name where you can go to edit preferences and all of that. So you will click on star reading and let me know if for whatever reason it stops sharing. Can you guys see that?
We can see it. Okay.
Okay, perfect. So you click on that and then you click on reports. And the links that I put in the presentation, it gives you step by step on how to have access to each particular report. So if you scroll down, you'll see the very first report is the STAR screening report. So you will click on that. Now you will not have access to everybody else's classes. You'll only have access to your class. But within your class, there are a lot of different things that you can do within that particular report. So right here, I have Chapel Hill High School, and then I've already added the teachers that I wanted to be added to this particular report. So like I can go back and click change students. I can, click add teachers. So I'll add Ms. Jackson's students to this report. And then I can add Ms. McGue's students to this report. I'll add Ms. Murphy's students to this report. And I think I've already added everybody else. So you won't have the part where you're adding teachers, but you will have the part where you can choose selected students to add to the report. So you don't have to add, may just want to look at it based on classes that you're teaching. So then you click on update report. And so some of the things you can do to filter, you can change the demographics. So you may want to do all ethnicities. You may want to look at your Black students. You may want to look at your Hispanic students. Genders, I doubt that that's not really going to matter. But when you look at select languages, that may be helpful for those particular students that you have that are not non-native English speaking students. So you can sort that as well. And so now I just have it on all ethnicities, all genders, all languages, all grade levels, all characteristics. And then I'm going to click apply. And then I'll go down where it says STAR Enterprise Scale. And now you can do a Lexile scale that will show you their Lexile scores or just the basic scale. And then we're going to do the state benchmark because that's what we want to see, state benchmark. And I click on hide groups without data because that will keep students from second semester from being generated in the report. So right now I'm just updating the report. And once the report updates, then you will be able to see, scroll down, and you can see this is ninth grade. This is where we are for ninth grade students.